What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City video, where today we're going to be doing a big Manchester City transfer update. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. Remember, doing daily Manchester City transfer updates from June 1st, which is just over a week away for you guys to wait for daily Manchester City transfer updates. So if you want to stay up to date every single day here on YouTube with all the latest City transfer news throughout this massive summer transfer window for Manchester City, then make sure you strap yourselves in and you have subscribed. Also, don't forget social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video. We're aiming for 700 likes, and also don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So we've got no contract news. We're going to dive straight on in with the outs, and we've got an update on a coach at Manchester City, Callum Doyle. Now, we're looking at some potential coaching movement at Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's assistant, Callum Doyle, is set to become the new manager at SC Braga in Portugal. That's according to Record over in Portugal. This is going to free up some room for a new assistant manager at Manchester City and adding potential depth into Manchester City's coaching squad, in particular in the inner circle around Pep Guardiola. The question is, who is that going to be? Could we be looking towards a potential former player in the likes of Fernandinho? We've already heard that Man City are interested in making him a coach at the club. Could potentially be a potential player who's wanting to go into coaching, like İlkay Gündoğan, for example, or it could be somebody completely new. We'll have to wait and see, but there is going to be some space, in particular when it comes to an assistant manager at Manchester City and Pep Guardiola's backroom staff. Now, moving on to some players, we've got the latest on Callum Doyle, and the Pink Un over in Norwich have been reporting about Callum Doyle. Callum Doyle has told them that he's had 4 loans away from Manchester City, and he says this summer is the right time for him to be seeking a permanent move away from the club. He was asked whether Norwich City would be a good fit for him, where he's currently spent the last season out on loan at, and he says that he doesn't have a bad word to say about Norwich City, and we will see what the future does hold, but he says he's not ruling anything out right now as he seeks a permanent exit away from the club. Now, moving on, we've got the latest on Kevin De Bruyne, and Fabrizio Romano has said that Kevin De Bruyne will be deciding soon with his family where his next club is going to be. Chicago Fire have put their proposal on the table for Kevin De Bruyne. Napoli are confident that they can close out the deal. They're just waiting for Kevin De Bruyne now to formally make that decision. Now, the Telegraph have said that Kevin De Bruyne has ruled out joining another Premier League team and has confirmed that Kevin De Bruyne's next club will be outside of England and will be abroad. BBC have said that Chicago Fire have offered Kevin De Bruyne their package, which will include a route into business for Kevin De Bruyne, as they want him to spearhead their franchise. Kevin De Bruyne does like the Chicago vibe, so he's interested in that move. The BBC did go on to say that if Kevin De Bruyne chooses to stay in Europe, then Napoli are looking like they're giving the best offer to Kevin De Bruyne, and Kevin De Bruyne does feel like he can compete at the very highest level still, and he does still think that he is good enough. So they're saying that word close to Kevin De Bruyne is that he is disappointed that Manchester City didn't even talk to him about extending his contract. Now, Satchio Tagliafieri has said that Kevin De Bruyne has given the new Serie A champions Napoli the green light. They're in negotiations about the contract length. Napoli want to offer Kevin De Bruyne a 2-year contract with the option of a 3rd year. Kevin De Bruyne wanting a simple 3-year deal. That's where the negotiations are, and it is looking like, in my opinion, Napoli are going to be the ones that win the race for Kevin De Bruyne ahead of Chicago Fire, but things can change. It's the transfer market, anything can happen. Now, moving on to the final story in the house, we've got the latest on James McAtee, and Florian Plettenberg in Germany has said that several Bundesliga clubs, including Bayer Leverkusen, have inquired about James McAtee. He says that several Premier League teams have also done the same as well, and the decision lies ultimately with James McAtee now, who is still no closer to signing a new contract at Manchester City, and he does have 13 months left on his current City deal. City asking for the same number that they were looking for in the January transfer window, somewhere between 20 and 25 million pounds for James McAtee. Birmingham World have said that Wolves have James McAtee on their summer wish list to see him as the perfect player for them, who also has huge potential. Wolves want to sign him permanently. They see him as a starting 11 player in their team and pushing hard to try and make the signing happen, them along with a lot of other clubs. So very much a queue forming for James McAtee. Now, moving on to the ins, we've got the latest on a new right-back, and it comes in the form of an update on Tino Livramento. Now, Fabrizio Romano has said that with Pep Guardiola confirming that Kyle Walker isn't going to the Club World Cup and suggesting that Kyle Walker has no future at Manchester City, Man City are looking at a new right-back and full-backs in this upcoming transfer window, and Tino Livramento is top of the Manchester City wish list. Livramento is a 22-year-old English homegrown full-back who can cover both right-back and left-back, so he is versatile, comfortable using both feet. A very good player, more than happy for Manchester City to be targeting Livramento. Do keep an eye on the final day on what happens with the race for UEFA Champions League football for next season. If City can win that race and Newcastle end up missing out, makes it a bit easier for us to try and tempt players from Newcastle to come, including that of Livramento. But Newcastle have got a heck of a lot of money if they've got Champions League backing as well. It'd take Livramento to say he wants to leave the club, which maybe I can't see happening. So I feel like this is just that of the key word being used here is a wish list rather than a realistic list looking at Manchester City. But we'll have to wait and see what does happen on the final game of the season. City still have some work to do to secure Champions League football heading into next season, needing a point away from Fulham tomorrow. Already got my live watch on link out if you want to come and join me for that tomorrow. And go and set your reminders for is live on my channel right now. Now moving on, we've got the latest on Rodrygo, the 24-year-old Brazilian attacker at Real Madrid. Real Madrid, they're keen to sell this summer, and AS in Spain have said that whilst Real Madrid are keen to sell, Rodrygo potentially wants to fight for his place at Real Madrid and improve his game. Florian Plettenberger said that Arsenal are stepping up talks to try and bring Rodrygo to Arsenal this summer. Arsenal are struggling though to find an agreement when it comes to wages, as it's looking like Rodrygo's asking for somewhere between £350,000 and £400,000 per week to join a club in the Premier League. We saw Manchester City linked earlier this month. It has gone quiet on that front, and unless Jack Grealish and or Bernardo Silva leave this month, then I can't see Man City spending a heck of a lot of money to try and make the Rodrygo transfer happen. But Man City may be keen on trying to get a high-profile player in, but we do have other positions to prioritise first. So Man City look like potentially going to miss out on Rodrygo. I don't know if he's going to go to another Premier League club, but we do have to try and deal with the fact that he might, and he could end up at Arsenal, and we could well be missing out on Florian Wirtz as well, as Manchester City are pursuing that, and he looks set for a move to Liverpool. So here we are. We'll wait and see. I like to try and be optimistic and think to myself that maybe other Premier League clubs won't strengthen themselves, and Arsenal won't be signing Rodrygo because it's too difficult of a transfer to be done, and Liverpool still faced a big hurdle of agreeing that fee with Bayer Leverkusen, who don't really seem keen on moving on that £126 million asking price. So until we see Liverpool stump up the money, you know, you can put all your agreements in place, but it's all about paying that cash, and if you're not going to pay the cash, you can't make transfers happen. How many times have we seen City be in them positions before, and it comes to the actual crunch moment of paying the big fees, and you know, you can't make it happen because of situations including adding numerous players into your squad, and it's a whopping amount of money. Anyway, moving on, we've got the latest on Morgan Gibbs-White, and Tom Colomos, a journalist at the Mail, has said that Nottingham Forest players in their squad are expecting Morgan Gibbs-White to leave this summer. He says that Nottingham Forest have come down on their £100 million asking price and are now asking for around £70 million. Wolves are due 10% of the fee due to a sell-on fee. Manchester City are working hard to bring Morgan Gibbs-White in this summer. He's homegrown, English, 25 years old, had a great season in central midfield with Nottingham Forest, does have 2 years left on his deal, and to me is a very doable transfer for Manchester City. Now moving on, we've got the latest on Tijjani Reijnders, and Sky Sports in Italy have said that Manchester City are now in advanced talks to sign Tijjani Reijnders from AC Milan. A fee does still need to be agreed with AC Milan, which is the big hurdle here, but I presume that Manchester City are closing in on that verbal agreement with Reijnders' camp. After that, the bid will come in. Now, we talked in my last transfer about Man City wanting to work on a deal worth £42 million. It's believed that AC Milan are pushing for somewhere between £55 and £60 million for this transfer, so I reckon we're probably looking at a deal worth around £50 million. Reijnders is a soon-to-be 27-year-old central midfielder from the Netherlands. Bid is thought to be coming soon. Now, Calcio Mercato in Italy have said that negotiations between Manchester City and Reijnders' camp are heating up. Reijnders wants to link up and work with Pep Guardiola, and Manchester City are expected to send a small team to Italy over the next few days to try and iron this transfer out. Now, Fabrizio Romano has said that Manchester City are the club that are holding talks and taking a move for Reijnders most seriously right now. Manchester City are keen to get this transfer done before the Club World Cup. Man City are also wary of other clubs being interested when it comes to a move for Reijnders, and I think that's going to be a common theme throughout this summer transfer window. Clubs getting their agreements in place very quickly and acting very quickly to make these transfers happen before other clubs start sniffing around and start making moves. I think that's the big lesson we've learned here from Florian Wirtz. It's not necessarily showing interest for months and months and months and months and acting quite slowly. The key here is to just strike while the iron's hot, and if you're thinking about a transfer and you think that player's a good fit, then not hesitating, getting them agreements in place, getting your idea about what you're looking for in terms of then transfers, and just striking really quickly. It's a philosophy that worked really well for City in the January transfer window, and it's a philosophy that would work really well in this summer transfer window as well, as we've seen from the big bits of business that Liverpool are already getting done, that Arsenal's already getting done, and Man City got to be following suit very quickly as well. Now, Manchester City are expected to negotiate hard for this transfer next week, with a bid expected early next week to be submitted formally to AC Milan. I think City are going to be holding talks over the weekend with AC Milan, and talks are going to continue into Monday, and I wouldn't rule out an offer coming in on Monday, if not Monday, more than likely Tuesday. Now, Calcio Mercato have said that there is a little bit of a difference here on fee. Manchester City are happy to pay between 50 and 55 million pounds for Tijjani Reijnders, which is much more than the original 42 million pound that City were thinking of paying. It's an extra 13 million pounds on top of that. AC Milan have now increased that offer and looking for around 63 million pounds. Again, there'll be a bit of negotiation there, and we are probably looking here all in for the transfer, probably looking at around 55 to 60 million pounds, which would be a club record fee for AC Milan. However, that doesn't mean Man City are going to be paying that as one lump sum. It'll be done in instalments. I imagine there'll be some bonuses included, and I think City will be looking towards trying to pay a number that's in the 40 million pounds. So let's say, for example, maybe 48, 49 million pounds as an upfront fee paid in instalments, and then Man City will include some bonuses, normally around 5 to 7 million pounds, and we'll be hoping that that would be enough to get the transfer done. If not, then we may be paying just a little over 50 million pounds. But for a player that we are desperately needing some quality in midfield, and a player that can play in that number 8 role, and a potential player that can help take over the reins when it comes to Ilkay Gundogan leaving in the next 12 months when his contract is up. We don't know what's happening with Mateo Kovacic, and also helping ease Rodri back in as well. We're needing some quality in that number 8 role, and I think Tijjani Reijnders is a cracking option for Man City to be getting sorted. And what I don't want to see now is City dragging their heels over 8 million pounds. If we think he's a right fit for our club, then we get the deal done before somebody else comes in and makes that deal happen instead. How disappointing would it be for Arsenal or Newcastle or Chelsea or Liverpool to come in and say, actually, we're willing to pay that, and all of a sudden Tijjani Reijnders plays for them and not us. Got to be really wary, got to be acting quick. That's the theme here when it comes to this summer transfer window, and hopefully we can get all them agreements in place that by the time the transfer window opens for Manchester City on June 1st, ahead of the Club World Cup, that at some point within that week that it's open, we can get Tijjani Reijnders in. I think City are looking towards trying to add at least one new player. Reijnders looking like the most likely player to be that player that City would bring in. I wouldn't rule out City doing another little bit of business before the Club World Cup, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, moving on, a very quick note about Florian Wirtz, as I know a couple of you guys have asked for my opinion, so here we go. So the facts, we're looking at Sacha Tagliafieri, who's been pretty good during this summer transfer window so far, that what he's said has been echoed by David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano, so very reliable what's coming from Sacha Tagliafieri. Yesterday broke the news that Bayern Munich have been told yesterday by Florian Wirtz that he is rejecting them, just like Man City had the same phone call from Florian Wirtz when Florian Wirtz said he's keen on joining another club and not Manchester City. City's insiders were saying they believe that club to be Bayern Munich, and their beliefs are wrong, because Bayern Munich's now been told the same thing a week later. It's Liverpool that Florian Wirtz wants to join, not Bayern Munich, not Manchester City, and it shows when you're picking a club that you do want to join, that's so important. Sometimes you win these things, sometimes you lose these things. That's how I'm looking at this. Do Manchester City want to shell out £126 million on one player, where it means we potentially miss out on another player and potentially hampers our transition? Not for me. If we miss out on Florian Wirtz, but we can sign 2 quality central midfielders this summer, 2 quality fullbacks, and a winger and replace any goalkeepers that want to leave, then I would say that's been a solid window. What I wouldn't want is Florian Wirtz to come in, because we spent so much money on the package for the transfer, which City have deemed not value for money and too expensive, and it meant that we're going to miss out on more quality. Let's say we bring Florian Wirtz in, but instead we have to cheap out on our fullbacks instead, then that could potentially be very devastating for City, in particular in the long run when it comes to the next 12 to 24 months' time, when Man City are having to do or continue their transition. And it's all about accumulating the money and ensuring that we're spending money on players that we're needing. And this summer, it's a big summer, we need 6, maybe even 7 players, depending on who is going to leave. So it's never going to be a summer where Man City are going to be splashing a lot of their budget on one player. It just doesn't make sense to do that, and I think Man City would rather spend their 40s, 50, 60 million pounds and bring 2 or 3 kind of players in around that bracket, rather than just shelling out that money on one player, like we did a couple of summers back when we brought Jack Grealish in. We spent 100 million pounds on Jack Grealish because we wasn't signing anybody else that summer. We were prepared to do the same with Harry Kane, and if Man City were only looking at one position this summer, and that position was to fill the boots of Kevin De Bruyne, I have no doubt that Man City would be spending big money, or prepared to spend big money, to make Florian Wirtz happen. It is a bit of a sickener to see him go to a Premier League rival. There's no guarantee that for the money that's been spent that Florian Wirtz is a big transfer, record-breaking transfer in the Premier League. It's a club record fee for Liverpool as well. Comes with a lot of pressure. Florian Wirtz is a high-quality player, no doubt about it. I think it's a cracking signing for Liverpool if they can get it done. They still need to get over that hurdle of agreeing the deal with Bayer Leverkusen, who I can't imagine are going to want to budge too much on that £126 million asking price. So it's all about Man City deciding what they think is best, and maybe Florian Wirtz for this summer isn't the best option for Man City, and also vice versa when it comes to the player making that decision, because Florian Wirtz maybe feels like Liverpool's style of play suits him much better than that of Bayern Munich and at Manchester City as well, and Man City will be thinking to themselves when it comes to transitioning that old midfield and putting some fresh new legs in there, that maybe there's other players that they feel like would be of benefit instead, and bringing in the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White and Tijjani Reijnders can provide real good competitive options alongside the likes of Nico Gonzalez that we've already brought in. We've already got Rodrygo coming back from injury as well, and hopefully he'll be able to hit the ground running once he's fully got going post Club World Cup. We're also looking at the likes of trying to get the best out of Phil Foden once more, trying to get the ball into Erling Haaland more. We brought Omar Marmoush in as well. There's lots of quality that City have got, and if they can find a way with the players that they've got and the players that they're getting linked with to bring them in and help them gel, I'm not overly that concerned. But it is a blow losing Florian Wirtz. I would have been okay with Florian Wirtz going to Bayern Munich because he wants to stay in Germany, but if he wants to come to England and is joining another club, I can fully understand where the frustrations of the Man City fans are coming from, when you're looking at, for me, a perfect like-for-like replacement for Kevin De Bruyne, and here we are pulling out and watching him join another Premier League club where Liverpool are going to get the prime years out of Florian Wirtz, which is a bit of a sickener, but it's just circumstance. It's just not the right situation for Florian Wirtz for Man City right now, and we have to deal with that. We have to go out there and make a response and bring in some high quality players instead. And as I said, if we miss out on Florian Wirtz but we bring in Morgan Gibbs-White, Tijjani Reijnders, 2 quality fullbacks, a winger and a quality goalkeeper, then here we are. And it will take time when these new players come in at Man City to hit the ground running and really gelling. And same with Florian Wirtz. And with that big price tag, is he going to be given the time? So there's lots of questions in here. Don't panic, the summer's long, there's so much that's going to go on this summer. We'll see, very interesting one. Do also think to yourself that Liverpool are spending a lot of their budget here on Florian Wirtz. They desperately need a striker, so I'm wondering, are they going to be able to spend big on 2 players this summer and bring in a high quality goal scorer? If not, are they going to cheap out on that? And if so, you want to sign one of the best creative talents in the world, but you're feeding him into Darwin Nunez, or you're cheaping out on your striker, may not link in. So don't lose all hope, but things looking very positive for Liverpool. I think City just need to go down their avenue and focus on themselves and bringing in the players that they think is right as well, and that's both with the 2 sporting directors, both Chicky and Hugo Boss, and also for Pep Guardiola as well. As I said, summer's long, we'll see what happens. We will only be able to judge upon the conclusion of this summer transfer window, and the transfer window's not even opened yet, and also we won't be able to judge about how successful this has been until the 2025-2026 season comes to an end, when in actual fact 24-25 season hasn't come to an end end yet, and City have still got some work to do, and that's what the next couple of days is going to look like for City. Got to secure Champions League football for next season. They will also be pushing in the next 12 months ahead of what's going to happen post 115 charges. So that's where we're at this moment in time. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Much appreciated. Don't forget, leave a thumbs up on the video. 700 likes is the aim. Also, don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe as well if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Remember, daily Man City transfer updates coming from June 1st to keep you guys up to date ahead of a very busy summer transfer window for Manchester City. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries, and I'll see you all real soon for the next one. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.